I felt the happiness.
People are stopping us in the street.
No telephone, no.
There's a curfew imminent, but they're still coming here in their droves.
I was very young when my dad was taken.
Despite the gunfire, are you happy?
This is the third or fourth tank that we've passed on the road from the border. We're on the outskirts now of Damascus. They're literally just left in the road.
Above us, Israeli jets menace the skies.
The speed with which power has changed hands has taken everybody by surprise. In a matter of hours, government forces took off their uniforms and fled.
These prisoners were captured by the regime, but are now being released by Kurdish forces.
They are despicable. Look at how they oppressed people.
I'm standing on the roof of one of Bashar al-Assad's palaces. This one has a beautiful formal garden, and Syrians are going through it.
They did this with pliers. There were people they used to hang with ropes and kill them, and there were people they used to put in a crushing machine.
It was living up so high, she said. We were living down here. Our country is heaven, they sing.
Well, we saw scenes like this back in 2011 and the Arab Spring. Here we are in 2024, and I suppose in many ways this is the Syrian Arab Spring finally coming to a conclusion. Now, it's still early days, but these celebrations from experience can go on for days. Flags are out, people are happy. There's groups of women. This is happening all over the city. They're coming to morgues where they know people who have been tortured to death. Their bodies have been found here and identified. So they're coming here to see if they can collect the body.
So you've not seen him for 12 years?
أبداً, no, never. 12 years ولا سمعنا صوته على التليفون. No telephone, no.
The extended family of Mazin Hamada gathering in grief. Mazin was a prominent, even famous anti-regime activist, who they said had escaped to Germany but was persuaded to return by the Syrian government with an amnesty.
So you're saying is that this was a conspiracy to bring him back and to kill him?
A gang brought him here. They said they wouldn't do him any harm. It was all lies. They handed him over to the regime.
The reality that Assad's brutal regime is now gone is sinking in. They're sharing their raw emotions with us.
I can't stop crying of joy. 3 days I'm crying.
Do you feel free now?
Yes, I can talk. The simplest human right.
I'm 18 years old. When I first started, they killed my father and they killed my uncle. They took the women, and then, thank God, now we released them.
Syria will be free. And we're all so happy. I was very young when my dad was taken.
Now to what the rebel leader Abu Muhammad al-Jolani told us today in Damascus. He was speaking to our international editor Zain Jafar. Just have a listen.
You're talking about a historic day of Syria to all the people here, but what's your message to foreign countries who are worried or concerned about what's happening in Syria at the moment?
Their fears are unnecessary, God willing. The country will be rebuilt. The fear was from the presence of the regime. The country is moving towards development and reconstruction. It's going towards stability. People are exhausted from war, so the country isn't ready for another one.
Rebel commanders are now ordering their fighters to withdraw from Syria's cities. How they respond could be a key test for the revolution.
We as soldiers will go back to our original positions, and the security forces, the police, will take over. There is no terrorism in this country.
It is strange walking around what was until just a few days ago a regime military base. Just abandoned trucks and supplies, and of course in here, ammunition. And the fear is that in the chaos and lawlessness of this revolution, it will fall into the wrong hands. Well, the situation here is very fluid indeed. We can only really speculate as to exactly what is going on and why this has happened, but you can make out behind me, that's probably about 6 kilometers away. Now, in that direction, that is where a regime base was stationed. But you can see those explosions now. We can also hear the whinnying of shells as well. We think that that's stuff that's blowing up. And then we're catching the sound of it on the wind.
Destroyed ammunition from a weapons convoy is strewn all around. Turkey's official news agency says this attack was carried out by the country's warplanes. Ankara does not want weapons falling into the hands of Kurdish groups. Commander-in-Chief of the Syrian Democratic Forces, General Abdi Mazloum, tells me ISIS is already resurgent.
ISIS is now stronger in the Syrian desert. Previously, they were in remote areas and hiding, but now they have greater freedom of movement. In the areas under our control, their activities have also increased.
For the last few days, since the rebel takeover, hundreds of families have been coming here to find those who have been held in prison.
Everyone will die, but why should my son die tortured in their hands? Why? He suffered a lot.
We entered the prison, stepping over discarded blankets, the stench overpowering. And this is the infamous crushing machine. I'm told that people were put into this machine and then they were essentially crushed to death.
It's becoming clear the Assads had many luxurious palaces, but this is their family home in Damascus. The floor is littered, literally littered with the boxes of designer goods. So family photos here, more official one, but also there's a photo of Bashar al-Assad underwater on a family holiday.
Well, this is the heart of Bab Amra and its significance in Homs. It's really where the revolution against Bashar al-Assad started. This building is incredibly significant because it was where activists worked and the media came here from the outside world. This place, in the end, was hammered so much that everyone left, and they're now only just beginning to return. After 14 years in hiding, Ahmed Hassan Naimi, an anti-Assad activist, has just returned home.
I still can't believe it. I'm saying hello to everyone still. I've seen my mother for the first time in 14 years.
Torture and repression were the tools the Syrian regime used to keep power. It happened below ground, where the horrors couldn't be seen. So women and children would be held in cells like this?
Maybe they were passing randomly in the street and there was a protest.
And just pulled. What we know here is that bodies of people who died in their cells were left outside for days to make life unpleasant for those inside, to act as a warning and basically to intimidate. The officers left in a hurry. A stockpile of weapons and ammunition, much supplied by Russia, was abandoned. Abandoned too, files, thousands upon thousands of them, detailing the lives of civilians and their assumed political beliefs. Everyone in Syria was spied upon. Files on the prisoners were burned in this room as the regime collapsed.
Less than 10 miles from Bashar al-Assad's presidential palace, we're heading for the site of one of the worst war crimes this century, where Syria's dictator dropped sarin nerve gas on his own people, hoping to stop rebels' advance on Damascus. We went to the site of the clinic nearby, where most of the victims died.
We were in shock. We started crying. All around were dead bodies on the ground. People were in cars. The engines were still on, but the people were dead.
2, 3. The dead were taken here, placed in 5 trenches, shoulder to shoulder, 3 bodies deep. Qasim helped bury them.
It was like the apocalypse. We could not believe the way they were attacking us. We started putting entire families together. We tried to put the kids, the parents, and even the grandparents together.
It'll take years for Syria to recover from the Assad regime, and crucial to that will be finding justice for his victims.
What is your hope for a new Syria? I hope every good thing. We breathe a beautiful, clean air. We breathe a clean air. You breathe clean air? Yes, we breathe clean air. Do you understand? We are together. We are as a one person. You are All together. of us, we are as a one person. Sunni, Shia, Alawi, Christian. We are a one person. We are in the mosque, and I say we are the one person. Assad